Hello and welcome to the 2021 Outstanding Mother of the Year Awards. I'm Joanna Coles, and get ready for some incredible stories of mothers who have been a force for change for their children and their community and showed us what a difference a mum makes. Or mom, as you guys say. And tonight, we're not only celebrating great mothers, we're doing it for a good cause. The proceeds from this event will go to Save the Children and their US programs. In the spirit of our nation's mums, they are feeding and providing to our nation's neediest children when they need it most. And we've made it simple to donate right from this page. So click the button and donate while you continue watching this inspiring show, or text donate to 243-725. That's 243-725. Get donating. This last year has been tough on all of us, especially our mums and caretakers, many of whom have had to juggle jobs and school and sickness under the same roof. So we thought the best way to kick things off is with a bit of humour. Here now, a comedian who calls herself the Funny Brown Mum. She's a hit on TikTok, and before we were all trapped in our homes, she was a regular at Caroline's on Broadway. Please welcome Zarna Garg.
Namaste, I'm Zarna Garg, and welcome to the 2021 Outstanding Mother Awards. Not that dads aren't important. We couldn't have gotten through 2020 without you. I'm kidding, we could have. As a mother of 3, I am so honored to be here with you. And while I'm doing this, my kids can't bother me, so #win-win. And moms, wasn't remote learning such a joy? Why so many passwords, so much security for a second grader? Who's trying to break in? They're counting ducks. Okay, enough about me. You feel warmed up? Ready to party in your pajamas? Great, I'm changing into mine now. And I can't wait to meet all these amazing mothers. Today's honorees made a difference in the world, and we wish them all big congratulations. So now, let me pass it over to the incomparable Joanna Coles, and let's start the show. Hit it!
Thank you, Zarna. You are definitely the incomparable one. Now I'd like to introduce 2 women who've been informing us and comforting us every morning throughout this difficult past year. From the Today Show set, Hoda Kotb and Savannah Guthrie.
For the last year, from these chairs, the Today Show, we've seen firsthand the challenges and the struggles faced by our nation's mothers.
Yeah, they've had to hold families together like never before. Many frontline workers leaving their children to risk everything, caring for and supporting a nation in crisis.
Yeah, so many balancing remote jobs at home while their children are at home learning as well.
Yeah, and still others struggling with comforting their families in the face of loss and sickness and stress of the unknown.
And through it all, we have seen over and over these incredible stories of resilience, of courage, of love and caretaking. And they keep reminding us what a difference a mom makes.
Which is why we are so thrilled to be here recognizing the inspiring women honored in this year's Outstanding Mother Awards.
Congratulations to all the moms honored today and all the mothers out there who care for, protect us, and make us whole in a time when we need it more than ever.
This year, we wanted to highlight some of the many moms who give so much of themselves without any need for recognition. So the Mothers Council planted a seed, asking people on social media to mominate Like that, Mominate Deserving Mothers, celebrating their impact.
And boy, did you all deliver. Here is a selection of some of the Mominations.
I'd like to mominate.
I'd like to mominate.
We'd like to mominate our mother, Nicole Einbach.
My friend Susan Zyman.
I mominate Katie Glasky.
My mommy does kind things for me.
She's there for us no matter what the circumstances are. And I'd say she's pretty cool.
Make breakfast, tuck me in bed.
My mother-in-law taught me the gentle guidance of how to raise children.
And she says kind things to me, which I like. Love you, Mommy.
And my mom honored her mother's request and kept her children together by bringing them into her home.
So to all the kick-ass ladies not related by blood who continue to uplift and inspire us every day, I mominate you.
I think of her as one tremendous and one of the greatest leaders I've ever known. So I mominate Mary Frances Winchester.
When I think about the moms in my life, I think not just about my girlfriends, who are the best moms that I know, and the people I look up to and steal ideas from and go to with every worry in my mind. I think about the moms of my best friends growing up and how integral they were to my childhood, to my teenhood, to my young adulthood, and how much those moms mean to me.
We'll be hearing more from Jennifer Garner later. Now time for our first Outstanding Mother honoree. Many of us first saw her when she was just 21 in her Oscar-nominated and Golden Globe-winning performance in Almost Famous. Since then, Kate Hudson has grown up on screen before us as both an accomplished actress and prodigy in a loving, long-together Hollywood family, and now as an author and entrepreneur. In 2013, she co-founded Fabletics, a sportswear retailer that has also been a force for advocacy in efforts like breast cancer awareness. All this while balancing motherhood of 3 children. Now accepting her award from reporter and Mother's Day Council board member Jane Hanson, here is Outstanding Mother Kate Hudson. Jane?
Thank you so much, Joanna, and I'm thrilled to now talk with Kate Hudson, our outstanding mother of 2021. Thank you, Kate. How are you? You look fantastic.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. I'm honored.
Well, we are too. So I got to ask you this question. You have a teenager, a 9-year-old. Are they called tweens? I'm not sure. And then
Not yet.
Toddler. So how on earth do you handle those 3 different stages of kind of growing up with such ease?
I have no idea. Everyone always asks, how do you do it? I'm like, am I doing it? Is that what this is? No, you know what? It's interesting. I sometimes think I either clearly didn't know what I was thinking, or I figured out like a really incredible way to raise kids, because, they're so different in their needs right now,
Mm-hmm.
Ryder, it's much more about, like, honestly watching him go and letting him fly, and knowing when to kind of like keep him and pull him back, and knowing when to let him sort of discover who he is as his own man, which is a very emotional time, I think, for any parent. And then my 9-year-old is like, you're in it, you're in the sports, and you're going to a million different things, and they're very dependent on you. And then of course my toddler, my little lady, is just, rules the roost.
Well, I heard you say someplace that your mom was your biggest cheerleader, but also that she gave you such confidence and that you hoped you could do that to your little girl. So how'd she do that?
Absolutely. I think, we have a really honest family. Even my parents have always been very honest with themselves, with us as kids growing up, and that their imperfections, that the expectations never felt like we never felt like we had to meet some unreasonable expectation. My parents always just wanted us to be happy and live a joyful life, if we, and feel good in ourselves.
I love that. And I want to talk really quickly about the new series you're doing with Octavia Spencer. It's called Truth Be Told. So you went back shooting in October, kind of in the middle of not in the middle, but in the
so crazy.
Oh, that must have been so challenging.
It was really interesting. I felt very safe because we had, I mean, as safe as you can, you know, in a time like that. You know, we have a pretty big crew cast, but they really Apple went above and beyond, making it a safe environment for everybody. And you know, I felt again grateful just to be able to be working, especially with Octavia Spencer, who is the most lovely person on the planet. And it's the first time I've ever done a show where I'm in every episode. I've never done that before. So I loved every second of it.
So I want to give you one chance just to kind of talk about your legacy as a mother and about having this honor of being an outstanding Mother of the Year.
You know, I always say, like, with my kids, you know, I this might sound morbid, but it's not. And I hope this is taken in the way that it's meant, which is that, you know, I want my children, if something happened to me tomorrow, I want my kids to know that I want them to always live a good life. And that's it. I want them to be happy. I don't want to be left every day, no matter like how young we all are today. It's like, as a mother, I live it like it's my last day as their mother. You know, my goal as a mom is that when I go, they're okay. And that's, I think, when you boil it down, that's really what we're all doing here anyway. You know, we're raising the next generation. And as I'm still living my life, you realize, I mean, I look at my kids sometimes and I'm like, all I want is them. I want their life to be good. And how do I make sure that they have the foundation to live a good life? And that's the only legacy I really, really care about.
Thank you, Kate. A special thanks to Bank of America and CIT for their generous contributions, which will have a profound impact on so many families that Save the Children's US programs work to support. To show how, here's actress and Save the Children board member Jennifer Garner.
For decades, the Mother's Day Council has been sending proceeds of their work to Save the Children, supporting the Foundation's U.S. programs. Hi, I'm Jennifer Garner. As an artist ambassador and a member of Save the Children's Board of Trustees, I've seen firsthand the incredible impact this organization has on kids' lives, especially in this last year. 30 million kids in America rely on school for not just learning pizza, but food. So the closure of schools due to COVID-19 has created both an educational crisis and a hunger crisis for many of our country's most vulnerable families.
You guys are awesome!
Throughout the pandemic, in places like rural South Carolina, heroic Save the Children workers have been distributing much needed food, as well as books, educational materials, even toys and games, along school bus routes and at school distribution events.
We're on our way to hand out books.
We're in a rural area. Our kids were not going to get food, so we've been busing food out to kids, and then we've been taking the books that Save the Children gave us and some of the literacy kits.
And let them hold it up if you can. Oh, you're so handsome.
Thank you. Please join me in supporting the Mother's Day Council's efforts to help the essential work saving America's children during this challenging time. Thank you.
Thank you, Jennifer. We also want to recognise Coty, Estee Lauder, PVH and Thea and Laurie for their support, funding after-school programmes that will make up for the devastating learning lost throughout this past year. And there's still time to donate, so simply press the donation button on your page or text DONATE to 243725. That's 243725. Plus, we have some really sexy auction items available, so click the silent auction button on this page to check them out and bid. Now to our next outstanding mother honoree. She's a mum, an entrepreneur, a journalist, and a force in international relations. Natalia Brzezinski turned a role as the wife of the Swedish ambassador into a game-changing advocacy connecting that country's businesses with US tech businesses in a new, profound way. She's a first-generation American born in Chicago from Polish and Ukrainian parents, and she stands on the shoulders of strong, ambitious women, her mother and her grandmother, who made their way in a new country. Today, she's navigating executive roles in companies like Spotify and Klarna while raising her daughter, Aurora. Here's 2021 Outstanding Mother Award winner, Natalia Brzezinski. Welcome, Natalia, and congratulations on this honor. You worked for first Spotify, and then you worked for Klarna. How did you organize that with being a parent?
It was extremely hard, and I struggled immensely. I mean, there were so many times I was living in Washington, D.C. My husband was working in the White House because after his diplomatic tenure, he became the first ambassador on the Arctic, sitting in the White House. Our daughter was 5, was really struggling culturally from moving from Sweden, which is a very different type of, culture and ecosystem, back to Washington, D.C., barely in first grade, and I was on an SAS flight, every 2 weeks to Stockholm, and I would often leave home, get on a plane, an 8-hour flight, and cry half the time. And it was a journey. There was no work-life balance. There was no balance at all. It was just work and iterating and struggling, and I don't think it was, the healthiest thing for me, but it was, I think, the life of an entrepreneur and a startup and a founder, and I think we often glamorize that. It's really, 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 really hard. And maybe sometimes it's not worth it. For me, it was, because it was such a manifestation of, I think, work I really believed in. What I did in the embassy was the bedrock of what I did with Spotify's founder, Daniel Ek, and Brilliant Minds, which was kind of a continuation of this values-driven work of creating tech and communities and innovative communities built on values and really doing something as a group together to make the world better. It sounds trite now, but it was really, really important. And I think because it was so meaningful, I carried on. And over time, it got easier as things get successful. I had more support. But at first, no one believed in me, and no one knew what the heck I was doing, not even my family. They go, what is she doing? Like, what is Brilliant? What is this? What is she starting? Why is she leaving her daughter? And it was really, really hard when that critique, I think, comes from inside yourself, inside your home, and then occasionally, from the outside community. But I think I really believed and listened to my gut. And people use that term often, and sometimes it becomes cliche. But I do think there is a voice in us, especially as women and as moms. And my voice said, just say, keep going, it's worth it.
You're one of the most empowered women I think I've ever met. Congratulations on your Outstanding Mother Award.
Thank you.
Now we turn to another Outstanding Mother honoree. As a power broker in the cosmetic industry, AC Eggleston Bracey has ushered in a new era, one with a much more inclusive idea of beauty of all kinds. Take a look. Her name, AC, means little girl born on Sunday in the Ghana language of Ga. AC Eggleston Bracey was born in Chicago, but raised by parents who wanted her to stay connected to her heritage while instilling a sense of service and responsibility. Those lessons translated into a career, impressive not only for its successes, but for Bracey's ability to find purpose and make change. As Senior Vice President of Procter & Gamble's Global Cosmetics, she changed the way brands like CoverGirl identified beauty, showcasing women not previously considered as commercial symbols of beauty. Queen Latifah, Ellen DeGeneres, Drew Barrymore, Janelle Monáe. At Unilever, she has continued to guide iconic brands like Dove, instilling purpose and introducing ever more inclusive ideas of beauty. Beauty is a source of identity, she has said. When we feel good about ourselves, there is nothing we can't do. AC, congratulations on being an Outstanding Mother of the Year. As a very well-known and very established executive in the beauty business, you've been able to change the perception of beauty from the more traditional
methods. Can you give us an example of something you've done that you felt was really moving the needle and that you were really proud of?
Most recently, what's top of mind is the work I've been championing called the Crown Act. In one area, as we talk to women, and Black women in particular, the beauty conversation hasn't been as inclusive. And as you think about where it hasn't been, it's been with our hair. I've been wearing my hair natural, and I have a naturally textured hair since 1995. And that was after, you know, straightening, chemically treating my hair and having burns and all sorts of things that came along with that. I just thought that was normal. And I had a wake-up call that it didn't have to be that way. And in 95, I went natural. And it just brought so much relief and joy and comfort in my own skin. And then to later learn that so many women didn't have that privilege. And I learned that through, you know, the work and talking to women with Dove, and said, you know what, we can change that.
Was there anything that, you know, was the catalyst for it? What made you decide to do that?
Yeah, there was. It actually wasn't about me. I went to a diversity training, and in the diversity training, it was for women and gender equity in the workplace. And it was a corporate training, and they were talking about the journey of women, I would say over the 50 years in corporate America, and how younger women, even though there were some senior women present, usually at the minority, have found that those senior women had complied and it almost lost themselves, which is normal, because if you're alone in an organization, you do what you need to do to survive. And I was contemplating that, and I thought for myself, what things am I doing to enculturate? And it was like, wow, I saw all these things I was doing. I was keeping my personal life separate from my work life, my outside interest, and obviously my hair. And so I made a change. I in that session made a choice. I have to not conform, because that conformity has everyone think that I'm like everyone else. And in many ways I'm not. And in most ways, none of us are. And so if we're all wearing a uniform and fitting into a standard, the organization doesn't get the benefit of our diversity. And I was a real champion for diversity overall and the organization being productive and successful. So I thought I had to do my part and stop conforming. As a diversity champion, trying to open up the organization so I wasn't just standardizing, but what I got out of it was so much more than anything I could have given.
I wish that we could play that answer in companies across America, because it's so extraordinary. Well, congratulations, AC, on being an outstanding Mother of the Year. I can totally see why it's so well deserved.
Thank you. Thank you for that. I am so proud to be bestowed this honor.
Now, a reminder, there's still time to support the work of the Council by donating on our page and helping deserving children across America through the Save the Children US programs. Simply text DONATE to 243725. Shout it back to me, 243725. Now we turn to a story of one frontline worker, ER doctor, who became a force for change through the pandemic, both for her family and for all of us. To help tell her story, I'm delighted to introduce NBC correspondent Maria Shriver.
Thank you so much, Joanna. This last year has been especially tough for mothers who work on the front line, having to balance the needs of their family with the stresses of caring for the sick during the pandemic and the worries of potentially bringing that sickness home. Our next Outstanding Mother Award goes to an ER doctor and a mother of 3 who's been balancing that tightrope walk between work and home while also being a voice of hope and a voice for change. Early in the COVID-19 pandemic, just weeks after the world went into lockdown, New York City ER doctor Dara Cass received her own diagnosis. She was sick with coronavirus. Just weeks later, Cass had a mission. Realizing frontline workers were not getting the support they deserved, she became a leading voice, pushing for access to quality PPE, better testing protocols, and a calming voice helping everyday Americans understand how to keep their families safe.
It is always a good idea to wear a mask in public right now. It is a very low-tech, easy solution that will decrease the spread from one person to the other, regardless of what's going on.
This New York City-born daughter of a teacher and a nurse dreamed early of being a doctor. After marrying her husband, Michael, one day it dawned on her. Empowered by his confidence and realizing her privilege, she was, as she puts it, unlocked. The only thing stopping her from making change was herself. She became an outspoken advocate for the representation and advancement for women in medicine, helping found Time's Up Healthcare and starting Feminem.org, a forum to address gender disparities in the field. This is a much larger attempt, she said, at connecting women across the entire house of healthcare at every level. Almost a decade ago, her son Sammy was born with a rare condition that led to liver failure. So Dr. Cass literally gave part of herself, a piece of her own liver, as a transplant to help save her son. When COVID hit, she created a pod in her home to ensure that many local children, along with her own, would have a safe environment in which to learn. Today, she continues to be an incredible example of a mother able to care for her children and make change for everyone. I am delighted now to be talking to the recipient of the 2021 Outstanding Mother Award, Dr. Dara Cass. Welcome and congratulations. How are you doing?
Well, I'm honored, first of all, so thank you so much. It's been an extraordinary year, so this is a very, very nice way to end it.
Extraordinary in a bad way, a good way, or a mix of all ways?
Obviously, in my line of work, we had a pretty devastating year over the course. And so there was a lot of things that we had to deal with that were unexpected, and I felt like I could do something helpful.
Now, you got COVID right at the beginning, and you made the difficult decision to kind of go and quarantine by yourself, away from your husband and 3 kids, in a hotel alone. How terrifying was that?
So ironically, it was kind of reassuring because I knew that I was keeping my family safe. We, as doctors, nurses, kind of frontline people, for the first time, didn't just think about ourselves as people going to take care of other sick people, but we were worried about getting sick ourselves. And then even worse was the idea of bringing it home to our families. So for me, actually moving out of my house was in a lot of ways the easiest thing to do, because I knew that I could go to work and I could, take care of my patients and myself, but I didn't have to worry as much about keeping them safe from me.
How is your son doing right now?
Today, he's fine. Everything, thank God, he never got the virus so far. He's been safe and in school the whole year, as have my other 2 children, which they were very concerned that they would be minimized in this. So I will make sure to call them out and recognize them as well. But, thank God we've been able to keep our family safe through this year. And now as we look to children potentially even being vaccinated soon, I feel like we're near the end of all of this for them.
If you have something you want to say about this award or about this moment, it's all yours.
I think that this is a remarkable time for women. And I think that we have really survived a difficult year, all of us. Really, really hope that our communities writ large, our employers really invest in the careers and the support of women and their families, because I think we've learned this year that we're all more than just our job, and that there's more to life than just going to work and coming home. And being home for a whole year, I think, taught a lot of us that.
Thank you, Maria and Dr. Cass. Our next outstanding mother is an Oscar-winning actress, entrepreneur and mum of 2 who helped do what many before her could not, pushing through a bill that puts limits on paparazzi and the photography of the children of celebrities. It's called California Bill SB 606, and Halle Berry celebrated by naming her production company 606 Films. So now I'm delighted to welcome Berry's 606 producing partner, Elaine Goldsmith-Thomas, to help her accept her award. Elaine?
Thank you, Joanna. I am so thrilled to be here with our outstanding mother of 2021, our outstanding mother always, in my opinion, Halle Berry. Hi, Hal.
Hi, E. Thank you.
Congratulations. This is amazing.
It is. Thank you.
It's so funny because when I heard you were getting this award, all I could think of was people don't even understand, and I don't want to embarrass you, but what an amazing mother you are, what an amazing fighter you are, and what you've done, not only for your children, but the other children in California. And I would love you to talk about 606, a bill that you fought for, that we actually named the production company after.
You know, the bill came about because it had to. And I think most people do great things when they feel like they have to, when they're fresh out of options. And my daughter, at the time, I hadn't had my son yet. I was pregnant with my son when I had been terrorized. She had been harassed. She was afraid to leave the backyard. The paparazzi were relentless in the pursuit of her photograph in a way that caused her to have night terrors, not want to go to preschool, not want to leave the house. And every time we left the house, she would say, "Oh my God, Mommy, there's the men, there's the men." And she'd start shivering.
I remember people saying, "Hallie, don't waste your time. Enough, Hallie, live with it. Big deal, you're a celebrity." And you went, "Look, that's my choice. It's not my children's choice."
I got told so many times, "You knew what you were getting into when you became." I'm like, yes, but my daughter didn't choose this.
Right.
What about her rights?
What people don't understand, and it's hard to explain unless you've experienced it, is that these paparazzi would hide out in bushes. They jump out in front of them. They call their names as if they know them to get a reaction. They would say things as if to get a reaction. It was untenable.
Yeah. Well, the bill, in case people don't know, it is Senate Bill 606, and that's the law that was passed that, it didn't take away the rights of journalists. You can still take photographs, but it requires them to be, at least 100 feet away. They have to be far away with long lenses so that the children don't even know they're being photographed. And People magazine was the first publication that came on board with me, and they really were a part of the movement, because after the bill passed, they then got on board and said, "You know what? We are not going to pay high prices anymore for photographs of children." And then after just had it, well, then other magazines started to follow suit. And when the price tags were taken off these kids' head, and the paparazzi had less of a desire to chase these children. And now my son hasn't experienced that one day in his life.
So as you get this award for Outstanding Mother, I applaud this organization for giving it to you, because they see that light inside of you that speaks to everything about you. And you have not fought harder for anything in your life than you have your children. And for that, I applaud them for applauding you.
Thank you, Elaine.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Elaine and Hallie, and thank you to all of you who are contributing to our campaign to help save the children. We are now up to more than $500,000 in donation and counting, so keep on donating. Just incredible. Keep on contributing by hitting donate on the page or texting donate to 243725. And now, to help us introduce our next Outstanding Mother of 2021, please welcome the CEO of WW International. That's formerly Weight Watchers, Mindy Grossman.
Thank you for that introduction, Joanna. It is a true honor to introduce Gail. And when I think about the definition of an outstanding mother, someone who is successful in their career, nurtures their family, and helps improve the lives of others, Gail is who I envision, and I can't think of anyone more deserving and worthy of this award. I'm privileged enough to call Gail not just a colleague, but a true friend. She's been someone that I turn to for both difficult business decisions as well as personal life ones. She's the type of leader people aspire to be and to want on their team. Open, honest, friendly, but direct, creative, and truly, absolutely hilarious. Gail finds a way to make you smile and laugh through the most difficult of situations. And while this year has been exceptionally challenging for mothers across America, with work, home, school converging like never before on top of an incredibly difficult and uncertain time. Gail has remained positive, resilient, and most importantly, brave.
Gail Tifford began her professional career as a corporate lawyer, but she hated it the moment she started. It didn't work with her creative left brain personality. Unilever was one of her corporate clients, and Gail, ever the creative one, wasn't shy about offering marketing ideas. The Unilever team was impressed and asked her to join them, so she quit law and joined Unilever, a 2-decade journey where she helped navigate the company into marketing for the digital age. And what's more, was a catalyst for change there, helping bring better gender equality to the workplace. Now she's leading a massive rebranding campaign of WW, formerly Weight Watchers, helping the company be a guiding light to millions of women and men struggling with weight, body issues, and depression through the pandemic. And she's been able to do all this while raising a family of 2 children with her husband Craig. Gail Tifford, outstanding mother of 2021. Gail Tifford, congratulations on being awarded an Outstanding Mother of the Year award. And obviously, as Chief Brand Officer of Weight Watchers, you've been motivating an entire nation. What's it been like for you over the last year?
Well, you know, I think even before the pandemic, you know, I believed in the potential of WW to be a motivator for everyone. In fact, I remember my interview with Mindy, and she said she believed that this brand could help change the health trajectory of the world. And so I think when the pandemic hit, it became even more apparent how critical the mission of our brand is. And so, you know, we have been focused on keeping our members healthy, but also really trying to inspire and motivate people who might not be members, but that somehow touch the brand.
You're known for, and you refer to it yourself as being very emotional in the workplace as well as at home, and your home life and your work life have really collided at certain points, haven't they? And I was thinking about when your husband was first diagnosed with an illness when you were pregnant with your second child.
Yeah, it was almost 19 years ago. My son was almost 2, and I was a few months pregnant with my daughter, Kate, who's about to turn 19. And my husband was diagnosed with stage 4 testicular cancer, and he was given a 5% chance of survival. And as you can imagine, I think that's pretty much every mother's worst nightmare. So we had gone to see experts, you know, all over the country who basically said that, you know, there was nothing they could do. And we finally found an experimental protocol, a trial at Memorial Sloan Kettering. And after about 9 months of treatment in and out of the hospital, I was induced with my daughter so that he could be there to see her birth. And then the day that I came home from the hospital, his mother took him to Sloan Kettering for 8-hour surgery. So that was 19 years ago.
Now, I know you're talking to us today from your home in Stamford, and your husband is about to come back, isn't he? And he's been in hospital recently.
Yeah. So about 2 weeks ago, my husband was diagnosed with esophageal cancer. It's very surreal. You know, we were here 19 years ago, and in fact, I was visiting him yesterday at Sloan Kettering with my daughter, who's now 18, and I'm sitting there thinking that the last time that I was in the hospital, I had her in my belly. It's very surreal. He is an amazing, amazing man. This took us totally, you know, by surprise. And so I think we're still a little bit in shock right now. But what I can tell you is that we have the most supportive friends, families. We have the best doctors in the world. And if anybody can do this, it's us. But it's a hard time right now.
I'm sure, I mean, you mentioned the last time you were in Sloan Kettering, your daughter Kate was in your belly. She's now 18. How wonderful that the two of them are grown up and get to see you nominated as an outstanding mother. And I think I'm going to cry now, which I've never done before, on the Outstanding Mother of the Year award. But they must be very proud of you.
I think they're incredibly proud. It's you know, very surreal to have your children say, "I'm proud of you, Mom," because I think, you know, their entire lives I've been saying that. But they are, you know, incredibly resilient children. You know, my husband, and after what we went through the first time, I don't think we ever took anything for granted. And it was really, really important to us to not only cherish the moments that we did have, knowing at any moment that's how precious life is. But, you know, it was also really important to us to raise resilient, independent children.
Well, you've clearly succeeded in that, and in the marketing community, I know you are much beloved, especially from the people that have worked with you. So thank you very much for your time, and again, congratulations on your Outstanding Mother of the Year award.
Thank you so much. I'm so honored, and thank you to the National Mother's Day Committee. This means so much to me. Thanks to my boss, Mindy Grossman, who I know nominated me and inspires me every single day. And congratulations to my fellow recipients. They're amazing. Being a mother is the most important job in the world for me. And so I thank my mom for preparing me for that, and to my husband, obviously, to my kids. They're the reason I get up every morning. So thank you.
What an emotional story. We are all sending our love to Gail and her family at this really difficult time. To help introduce our next outstanding mother, please welcome founder and CEO of Every Mother Counts, former model Christy Turlington Burns.
Thank you so much, Joanna. I'm Christy Turlington Burns, and I'm thrilled to introduce my longtime friend, Andrea Smith, the Chief Administrative Officer for Bank of America. Someone who couldn't be more deserving of this tremendous recognition. Her leadership, both professionally and personally, is inspiring. I know this because I've seen her passion firsthand through her support for Every Mother Counts to help mothers not only survive, but thrive. For more than a year, moms have been superheroes as they've constantly pivoted, many balancing work and home, and in some cases, homeschooling. Andrea understands this balance because she's a mom of 3. She's faced many of the same challenges. As usual, Andrea is determined to take action, helping families thrive through her work with communities, customers, clients, and especially her Bank of America teammates. Whether supporting communities through the pandemic, helping them recover from natural disasters, or working towards economic mobility, Andrea's leadership makes a significant difference.
Living in New York City in an apartment with 2 boys in the middle of a pandemic has been very interesting nonetheless. I've had to become a teacher, a technician, a mom, a cook, everything all at once together with doing my job. Bank of America has helped me tremendously. I mean, getting reimbursed for childcare, which is extremely expensive in New York City. If these benefits were not in place, I probably would have also had to consider a changing career where it would allow me to be home a lot more.
I met my wife Kim at work. I didn't really think that people would be truly in love. So when it happened to me, it was like a bolt from the blue. We kind of started our family planning journey a little bit before the wedding. The cost of IVF is insane. For the bank to step in and pick up a lot of the operational process around that, they make it as easy as possible so that that just isn't a stress factor for you. Bank of America has been involved in our process at every step. They're very aware that every person's family looks different.
I am delighted to be now with Andrea Smith, the Chief Administrative Officer of Bank of America. She's been called one of the most powerful women in banking. Andrea, we know that Bank of America has had some really powerful family-focused policies which have been very helpful for employees during the pandemic. Is there anything that Bank of America could do or that you would like it to do to support working parents even more?
I think Bank of America does so much to put it all together and balance it. And people ask all the time, how do you get a work-life balance? And those aren't words that I particularly like, because to me it conjures up one of those old scales that you make equal on both sides, and it's really never like that. Every day is about trade-offs, and it's about prioritization and making choices. And what works for me may not work for you or someone else. And so I try to coach people, you've got to figure out what's important to you and then put those guardrails in place and make that become a reality. Because at the end of the day, the company has lots of programs for you to take advantage of, but you've got to realize what's important to you and how to do that.
You are an outstanding Mother of the Year. Many congratulations on the award. What does this honour mean to you, knowing that you've had lots of professional recognition, but what does recognition as a mom mean?
Well, to me, being a mom is the most important thing I do in my life. And so it very much touches my heart to get this recognition. I really have so much gratitude to be nominated with these other honorees. I'm humbled by that, and I'm just so privileged to be with you today and have this honor from the National Mother's Day Committee. And I say that this is something that I would say is a tribute to all the moms out there. They're really an inspiration for so many.
Our final outstanding mother has been a television fixture through 20 seasons of a series that literally changed popular culture. The Kardashian-Jenners opened their world long before the term influencer became common internet speak. It may have been craziness with a capital K, but the woman overseeing it all, mom and manager Kris Jenner, helped Kourtney, Kim, Khloe, Kendall, Kylie and Rob to become fashion and culture moguls. And they have all used their massive influence to bring attention to social and political issues in the process. The show is now coming to a close, so think of this as a Keeping Up with the Kardashians exit interview with our 2021 outstanding mother, Kris Jenner. I am thrilled to welcome our next 2021 Outstanding Mother of the Year award, Kris Jenner. Kris, what have you learned about yourself as a mother after 20 seasons?
Oh my gosh. Well, it's challenging. And, being a mom is the greatest job that I have in the entire world. And it's definitely a big one. With this many kids, I have 6 kids and 10 grandchildren, and I couldn't feel more blessed. But I think, after 20 seasons, I think I've realized how much we love to be together and how much we've had this great break, but really looking forward to, getting back at it again soon and doing it, in front of the entire world. It's definitely, a different challenge, and I love where we are.
Well, a lot of people will think that the show is entirely scripted and that you've planned everything in advance. But in fact, there's been a ton of heartbreak that we've watched over the seasons. What have been the hardest moments for you?
I think all of the moments that we've been through are extremely difficult, and we do the best that we can. I do the best that I can to get through them and be a source of strength and a rock for my kids, because that's what I feel like my sole purpose in life is, to be a great mom. But I think more importantly, in some weird way, is the light that we've been able to shine on a lot of really important issues. I'm just happy that we're able to share that with everyone else.
I think one of the things that perhaps people don't realize is how much work doing 20 seasons of a TV show is, and also how hard you work when you're not on screen. And I know personally, because I've watched it, why was that important to you to show them?
Work ethic is a very important quality, and my kids, all of them, have the most amazing work ethic I've ever experienced in my life. Because what a lot of people don't understand is, doing this show for 20 seasons, 14 years, hundreds of episodes, and 11 spin-offs. I mean, that's a lot of TV.
11 spin-offs is a lot of television.
And they all have other careers and other things they do, other businesses they run, and their moms, or in Robert's case, a dad. So everyone has these crazy lives. And I think that just raising them to have this responsibility and this sense of organization and creativity, and you can do anything you set your mind to, and giving them a lot of encouragement, I think they've learned in working on the show. It's been such a great teacher, if you will, to have structure and to have responsibility and to learn something new. I always say to my kids, I want to learn something new every day. I am like a sponge, and I think I have passed that quality on to my kids. I think it's really important to be able to learn and grow, but I think the work ethic side of it is key as a foundation.
Well, listen, congratulations on your Outstanding Mother of the Year award, and please say hi to all the kids for me. I never had as much fun as when we did that. We shot the whole family and put you on the front of Cosmo. It was so much fun. So I'm thrilled to see you again.
Thank you for this beautiful honor. I can't think of anything I would rather be recognized for than just being a great mom. And that's really the biggest blessing in my life, is my kids. And so I just want to thank you from the bottom of my heart.
Thank you, Chris. All of these mothers today have helped their kids, their families, their communities through one of the most challenging years we have ever seen. And I haven't even begun to tell you what it was like to be trapped with my children. But now there are signs of hope. What does that mean for the future? Here with her take, once again, comedian Zana Garg.
It's me again. How great was that? Let's show some love to our host, the brilliant, the beautiful, that just got a deal to produce shows for ABC, Joanna Coles. Chin up, moms, come on. We have the vaccines now. I got mine in March. The one time being fat worked in my favor. Skinny bitches had to wait. I know everyone wants to travel again, but for my sake, let's not rush it. I'm not ready for my mother-in-law to leave India and come to New York. She comes for 3 months. It's like she has her own season. Winter is coming. Let's just start with the kids going back to school, playing in a playground, eating food off the floor. Bring back the 5-second rule. I'll be happy if my biggest worry is my kid coming home with a B in math. Look, it's good to know we can be nurturers, teachers, cooks, nurses, chauffeurs, barbers, and not get paid. Because of course we can. We're moms. And what the pandemic taught us is that we're all outstanding. I'm Zarna Garg. Namaste.
Thank you, Zarna. Thank you to all of the outstanding mothers of 2021. And thank you to all the moms out there that lift us up and help us through the easy and the tough times. And finally, thank you to all of you who contributed today. With your help, we've raised over $500,000 in need of basic necessities. And don't forget to bid on these great items in our silent auction. It'll only be up for a short time before we announce the winner. I'm Joanna Coles. Thank you for watching the 2021 Outstanding Mother Awards. And now you know what to do. Call your mum.